What's going on, friends? Zach here, full-time online reseller, and I'm sitting right outside of my local Goodwill waiting for it to open up. Going to be doing some local thrifting today. Going to share with you everything I find to buy and resell online. So let's do this thing. So right off the bat, started in the kids' jackets. Not a whole lot to be found there. Dug hard, dug deep, a lot of low-end brands that just weren't worth much. I'm looking for the good stuff. But I did come across this Columbia jacket eventually, and I kicked myself because I just realized when I was editing this video that I forgot to go back and get it. And it wasn't nothing super special, but it was worthy of the grab for like $6.49. And you'll see that piece here in just a second. But the rest of this stuff was just garbage. And so this is an older Columbia jacket. I do good on Columbia outerwear. I should have went back and grabbed this. Oh well. I did find this Moro women's snowboarding jacket, but my local Goodwill just prices everything out of the park. So decided to skip on it just because that brand's not real strong. And then I blazed through some more women's jackets, and I found this Eddie Bauer downfill 650. Picked it up. Something was pulling me to the Halloween section, and when you know, it was this creepy doll. So I got the heck out of there, found my way back over to the shoe department. Did come across these Olakais. They were priced out of the park, and these are better to sell in the summer, so I skipped out on them. But here's just another example of my Goodwill pricing things way high. Cinch Western shirt, $15.49. That's crazy. But I did find this HP 17A LaserJet toner cartridge, and it was only $5.49. I couldn't quite locate an exact price, but I picked it up anyways. I think it's worth about 50 to 60 bucks. And then there was this Thule bike carrier assembly. I looked this up. Thule is usually worth some money. The box was kind of beat up, but it had everything in there. Turns out, just wasn't worth it. So I love Area, but this shirt, this reflective work shirt, was $13.49. Goodbye. And I also love Volcom. I almost picked this up. This is just a kid's infant winter outfit. It was $6. Sell-through rate wasn't solid, so I skipped on it. Now here's a lesson for anybody out there. Don't confuse Ralph Lauren Polo with US Polo Associates. This one's junk. And I did find these silver jeans. They were capris. Noticed the thick stitch. Passed on them. So glad that I found the Eddie Bauer Goose Down puffer jacket. That was a victory. I hated to pay $10 and some change for it though, because I picked up a couple of those over the garage sale season for like $3 to $5. But this is just the nature of the beast. My local Goodwill continues to just increase prices on extremely popular brands, especially Western wear brands like Ariat and Cinch. And so this is the importance I always say about doing market research, about catching the items that you know you can make some money off of that maybe the pricers at these thrift stores are not aware of or not as familiar with. I am, however, super stoked to have picked up the ink toner cartridge. Do really good on those. I wasn't certain of the price inside of Goodwill, but I knew it was probably worth some money. So after I couldn't locate it as a sold item on eBay, I just simply went to Google Lens, took a picture of it. Right away, it popped up one on Best Buy for $90. And so that was good enough to tell me that that puppy was probably worth some cash online. It may be just more of a rare number and just not as popular or as prevalent with different printers, copiers, and that's okay. Somebody will come along and pay good money for it, and it was only $5 and some change. So I do have a little bit of time to burn before the next thrift store opens. I'm gonna race into our local Hobby Lobby, see if I can't find a picture frame. One of the beauties behind Reselling that I love is the freedom of time, the freedom to be with my kids when I need to, the freedom to take a break from life and just do what I want. And while it does require a ton of determination, a ton of self-discipline, I love the freedom that goes with it. So just know if you're thinking about going into the realm of being a reseller, it's certainly not easy, but it's certainly got some perks. So just scooted into yesterday and today's thrift store. This is the one right down the road from my house where the people are just incredibly kind and giving to me. I'm gonna race in here, look around, try not to spend too much time. If I don't find a whole lot here, I'll just stretch this into a 2-part video, as I'll most likely be doing some thrifting up in Durango, Colorado tomorrow morning. So let's go see if we can't come up with a handful of goods, or at least a big hug from somebody I know around this place. What you know? How are you?
I'm doing good.
Started off on one end of the building, digging through some hard goods. Doesn't hurt to dig deep, especially when you see some new inventory. Obviously, those weren't worth the grab, nor was this Franklin T-ball youth glove. But I kept digging, went and looked around the women's wallet section, hoping to find that Coach, hoping to find a Dooney and Burke, hoping at least for a Fossil, but nothing to be found there. Now, I did see these UGG boots a couple weeks back when they first got dropped off at the intake portion of the building, but they were kind of beat up and had my eye on them. I certainly could sell them, but just kind of tired of dealing with beat up, dirty shoes. These, however, were clean enough to come with me. I gave $3 for them, and Crocs, they're just money for me. All right, so I'm back here just digging at the racks that is fresh clothing they've just washed. That's a super nice shirt, but not a great brand. If this was another brand, I'd grab it, but not a super strong selling brand to resell used, so gonna skip it. Made my way over to the North House. My good friends Eric and Deb, who manage this section of the building, have stashed a couple things for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and look around. It's been since last week since I was here. Gonna check out what they got. So came right over here to the corner where my friends stash stuff, and they've done a great job of listening when I tell them I like certain items. They're really doing a great job of that. So a pair of Miss Me jeans, what a score. Super grateful for these kids. All right, I got this Bulwark FR long sleeve work utility shirt. I also got a pair of Ariat thick stitch jeans and another pair. They're a little bit tattered, but that's okay. People will buy them. And then another pair. So thanks to my friends here at Yesterday and Today's Thrift for always keeping me in mind and just being great to me. So here's the 9 items I sourced. Again, I'll go through each item. I'll tell you what I paid for it, give you an idea what I hope to sell it for, and I'll give you some ideas on what I like to put in the title and in the keyword or description box. So here we go. I was lucky enough to have the great kids down at my local thrift store put some Ariat jeans to the side for me. They are just doing a tremendous job of remembering the brands I like to source. Ariat is money, and I always say that next to Carhartt, I probably sell more Ariat clothing than any other brand, men's and women's. I do prefer the men's line, but I do well on the women's line as well, and it just seems just about anything from them will sell, whether it's button-up shirts, denim, or cowboy boots. You can't go wrong with Ariat. So I paid $1.25 a piece on these 3 pair of jeans. The dark wash jeans are in better condition, and so I will hope to get probably $34 to $36 for them. The other 2 pair of medium wash jeans have a little bit more distress, so I'm thinking probably within the $25 to $30 range. They're all thick stitch. I like to use that in the title or even in the description box. Because they are Western wear, I'll also add that into the description. I'll put rodeo, cowboy, farmer, ranch, chore, work, utility, oil field, and just using those words to tie into the occupations of the people who like to wear these garments is the key. I keep saying it over and over again. Go after the stuff that's easy to find in your area. For me, I live in New Mexico, so Western wear is common, and a lot of the guys around here who wear work utility tend to favor the Western wear, so I'm probably lucky in that regard that I just have a huge market of people that are after these items, but I love me some Ariat. Now, Bulwark FR long sleeve button-up shirt, not the strongest brand, but I still sell Bulwark day in and day out. This one's pretty clean, so I'll probably list this maybe around the mid-20s, and if somebody reached out and offered me 21, 22, 23 bucks for it, I'd jump on it. It doesn't have any outside embroidery. It doesn't appear to have any stains, but it does have a few little micro spots on it of distress, some holes in the making. That doesn't matter because flame resistant garments will sell for me beat up, stained, or with holes, but you got to be good about judging your prices on them. So happy to see that guy go. Now, this Eddie Bauer down-filled jacket, it's a $6.50. It looked a lot cleaner under the Goodwill lights. When I got home and shined it in the sun, it's going to need a little bit of washing, but it is a nice light lavender colorway. I don't buy a lot of Eddie Bauer, but I do love their down jackets, whether they're modern or vintage. And I just listed one like this the other day for mid-40s. So I believe that's probably where I'll price this one, but a lot of that is dependent on how clean I can get this item. And so happy to see it go, even if I did have to pay up for it. This guy here was a tough one, but I always do good on printer ink, and because it was a toner in a bigger box, I just felt like I needed to make a move on it. I did sit for about 5-6 minutes in Goodwill trying to find this one on the solds and completeds, but I just couldn't locate it. So as I said earlier in the video, I went ahead and just took a Google Lens shot of it. It pulled up some retail costs, and so I'm hoping I could probably get $45 to $65 for this. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but be on the lookout for ink cartridges and toner boxes like this. You can make some good money. Oftentimes I find these very underpriced at thrift stores and even cheaper at garage sales, yard sales, and estate sales. And these are super easy to list. It's a couple pictures. They tend to sell not super fast, but not super slow. So they're kind of in the middle, and they don't take up a whole lot of space. They're very easy to store. So I'm good with that grab. It was worth the gamble for $5.49. Now this pair of Crocs, just a pair of Mary Janes. I do good on Crocs. They're probably not worth a ton. I haven't looked these up yet, but I know enough about Crocs that the weird ones, the ones with prints, the women's sandals that can be somewhat fancy, have jewelry on them, can go for a lot of money. These here probably won't go for a ton. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, mid-20s. They're not super beat up. I paid $3 for these at my local thrift store, so super glad to have picked them up. These will go on my spring summer death pile for this coming year. I will forget about these for 6 months and worry about them down the road. Now, this is an interesting buy. I thought that this was a Killstar backpack, which is the better brand to have. This seems to just be a knockoff, but I felt like it was worth it for $4. It's a little coffin with bat wings, and initially I thought it was just a Halloween decoration, but one of the ladies at the local thrift store reminded me that it is probably more likely an emo goth item, and so that's the intended market I'll go after. Those are the people I'm hopefully going to sell this to. And while it is not a Killstar, it's kind of a knockoff brand, I still think I can probably get $25 to $30 for it. It is in excellent condition. So yeah, I like buying cool, funky stuff, and stuff like this keeps the kid in me alive. Last item of the day is a Diamond Head ukulele. This guy's got a chip on it. Diamond Head makes some decent guitars. The bigger guitars are worth a lot more money. This guy here is probably only worth 15 to 25 bucks, but I'm gonna go ahead and probably keep it for myself because I like the sounds of the ukulele. I like some of those Hawaiian calming ukulele songs you hear online, so I'm gonna try to be that guy even though I live in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. So yeah, all in all, 9 items purchased. Probably keep the ukulele for myself. Not a bad day for an hour of thrifting. Buying costs were there, so that's how I do it. I get out there every day. I try to be consistent in my local market. And for anybody who's struggling to source, maybe they're from a small town like I am with limited thrifting options, maybe not much of a garage sale scene as the fall is setting in, my best advice is to be consistent and to build those relationships with the people you source goods from, whether it be yard sales, thrift stores, garage sales, estate sale agencies, whatever it is, just try to get in good with those people. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this one down. As always, if you like this video, please reach out there and smash that like button, make a comment, or please subscribe.